And welcome back. This year's flu guidelines are more important than ever before. Research shows that people infected with COVID-19 are less likely to survive if they have other illnesses such as the flu.
So today, how to stay safe from the flu. Rebecca Michelson is with Penfield Children's Center, and we're excited to have her join us. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. You know, I think so many people are so confused this year, especially when it comes to kids and the flu shot. So I love the fact we're going to break all this down. So I want everybody to know all of that information is coming. I want you to start with just kind of a little bit of a rundown of the difference between, you know, influenza and maybe like a gastrointestinal illness.
Sure. So influenza is an upper respiratory illness that we get. The gastrointestinal, or what we call oftentimes the stomach flu, are when we get more of the vomiting and the diarrhea. Now, with influenza, children do occasionally also experience the vomiting and the diarrhea, but really you notice more of like the fevers, the chills, the body aches with influenza, where with the gastrointestinal or the stomach flu, it really focuses more on that vomiting and diarrhea.
Now, the flu shot does not protect you from GI bugs, like as we call the stomach flu. It does not. It only protects from the influenza type, correct?
Right. So the flu shot that you will receive really only covers that influenza upper respiratory virus. It does not cover the GI or the stomach flus.
It's interesting because I think so many of us now are aware of how to stay healthier, but just kind of run down some ways to stay safe from the flu. It seems like there are a lot of things we're hearing right now for COVID.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to probably follow a lot of the same similar precautions that we've been following since March. You know, the biggest ones being washing your hands often and frequently, making sure that if we are experiencing any type of symptoms that would either look like the coronavirus or would look like influenza, we want to stay home. We don't want to be sending our children to school. We don't want to be going to work. We want to make sure that if we are coughing or sneezing, that we are coughing and sneezing into our elbows, and making sure that our mouth and our nose are completely covered. And then the best thing when it comes to influenza is making sure that we are getting that flu shot in order to help protect us from potentially contracting influenza.
Yeah, because you say even if the flu you end up getting isn't the flu you got, the strain that was included in your injection or your shot, it still may lessen the severity or the symptoms, which is a bonus of getting the flu shot.
Right, that's correct. I mean, we try, you know, when the flu shot is made, they're kind of predicting what they think the flu will look like for that year. And so it may not exactly match, but if you have at least some of those antibodies in your system from getting that flu shot, it will hopefully reduce the length of the virus that's in your body. It will hopefully reduce how severe your symptoms are. So it really is a benefit to get that shot.
Okay. Let's talk about for kids. When do you consult with a doctor when they're not feeling well?
Sure. So anytime that, you know, you're seeing those fevers, those muscle aches, you know, maybe they are coughing a lot, anytime you're seeing those symptoms are when you're going to want to consult a doctor. Now, if you're starting to see that they're, you know, uncontrollably crying and you can't calm them down, they're having difficulties breathing, we want to actually just head straight for that emergency room. That's when we really want to be seeking the help. But consult the doctor with some of those more common symptoms that we will see. If we would get influenza, a lot of them we can treat from home. And so your doctor can provide you with steps for being able to treat that from home.
There are certain people that you say should absolutely get the flu shot, and that's babies, the elderly, pregnant women, people with an immune compromised illness. Anyone over the age of 6 months can get a shot, you say, and you should get a shot each year because the strain changes, correct?
Correct. So the strains change each year, plus actually technically the flu shot is designed to only last for that season. You know, it's not really going to protect you beyond a kind of a 6-month window. So that's the other reason for getting that flu shot every year. And the CDC really does recommend that we get our flu shots before the end of October, before the start of flu season. Flu season typically is running from about the end of October to about the beginning of May. So it's really important to make sure that we have ourselves protected from contracting that illness.
Break down this year's flu shot a little bit, because I'm surprised to read some of the stuff too about children who need 2 doses or 2 shots of it.
Yeah, so any child under the age of 8 who has not received a flu shot previously will need to receive 2 doses. That's kind of always been typical practice for the flu shot for children. They will need to receive that flu shot 4 weeks apart. And it's more or less because their body needs a little bit more time to build up those antibodies.
There's no cure for the flu, but it is worth checking with your doctor, you say, about antiviral drugs because they can reduce symptoms. And just one quick note about COVID-19 and the flu. It's important to get the shot because we made the point earlier that if you have COVID-19, you're much less likely to survive if you have a coexisting illness like the flu.
Right. And that is so important, and why we need to get it is because we're going into a flu season now where it's going to be really hard to tell what we have and what we're experiencing. And there is a good chance that you could be experiencing both illnesses or recovering from one and catch the other one. So it is really important that we make sure that we're doing everything that we can to at least protect ourselves from the one that we can right now, knowing that we still can't fully protect ourselves from COVID-19.
Important information today. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Great to see you.
Good to see you, Rebecca.
And for more tips on staying safe and healthy, visit the Kohl's Building Blocks site. It is penfieldbuildingblocks.org.